After landing the first overall pick in the NBA draft, the Washington Wizards are going to have a big year ahead of them. Can we get them into the finals in this edition of The Nest? Hello everybody, welcome back to The Nest Star XP. My name is Robin and welcoming you back as we finally got the NBA draft lottery so we can finally start talking about these rebuilding teams and actually start breaking them down as we continue our series of rebuilding each NBA team and what we think they should do in their offseason. So I'm very excited as we're tackling the Washington Wizards today, who are a team that didn't really need a ton of work, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but a team that still was a little bit of fun to adjust. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, make sure to hit the subscribe button, make sure to go check out all of the TikTok, the Instagram, all of that jazz. Make sure to just go check it out because I post daily content with all those things. I cover the NBA playoffs. I'm going to be posting short versions of this content as well, so just go check it out and make sure to come on back for more content. So like I said with the Wizards, they don't really have a ton of moves to make this offseason because they made a lot of the key moves that they need to make at the trade deadline in getting guys like Trae Young, getting guys like Anthony Davis. Now they have the pieces they need. They just need to actually put them together and actually use it. And I think the biggest question with this team is going to be Anthony Davis. If he stays with this team, if he demands a trade like we know AD likes to do, if he does anything of that regard, which if he does, that's fine because I think the team is still built even without AD, and honestly it might be better for the Wizards long term if they move off of AD sometime at the trade deadline, but it's really up to them. For all intents and purposes, for this sake, we are keeping him. We're assuming he's going to be here for the whole season, but again, something at the trade deadline, it probably would be best for them, but we'll see. But moving on, the obvious thing is that they got the first overall pick, so who are they going to pick with number one? And there's not a wrong decision there. There's not. I mean, getting the first overall pick, there's no wrong decision there unless you're the Atlanta Hawks in 2024 or 2025. 2024, because 2025 was Cooper. Why am I stupid? 2024 with Zachary Richey. But regardless, they can't really go wrong whether they pick Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, or any of those guys. But the guy I think they should go with is AJ Diabata. And the main reason is just because this team has a glaring, I don't want to say glaring weakness at that wing position, but I think what they need most in that starting lineup is a star quality 3 or star quality 2, and I think AJ Diabata fits that role perfectly, particularly because he has the athletic defensive versatility alongside Trae Young and AD and all these other guys, and he also has the shot creation and things like that to pair well as a secondary offensive scorer. And I think that a guy like Darren Peterson might not work as well just because he is a little more ball heavy. He's a guard, so you're going to have two guys that don't really play the best defense in that backcourt with Trae and Darren Peterson. That's why I think you should go with them. And Cam Boozer wouldn't be bad, but you already have AD, Alex Sarr. You got so much power in that front court already. You don't need Cam Boozer and you don't need Caleb Williams. I keep wanting to call him Caleb Williamson. Caleb Wilson. You don't need any of those guys at that power forward position. So that's why I think they should go with AJ Diabata. But again, that's not a wrong decision as long as you choose one of those four guys. Now, obviously, the Wizards got the first pick in the NBA draft, but they also have picks 51 and 60 in the second round. So what are they going to do with those picks? Honestly, trade them because you already have a pretty deep team as it is, and I think trading them and moving off of them, especially for what we're going to do, would be more beneficial to the team. And what is that? Well, that is trading with the Dallas Mavericks for pick 30. Now, you're going to have to give up a decent bit. You're going to have to give up picks 51, 60, plus all three of your 2027 second-round picks in order to get pick 30, if the Dallas Mavericks agree to that. And you may need to give up even more second-round picks in that regard. But the reason you do that is just so that you can start combining some of these picks, start combining your talent and things like that, and getting another young depth piece guy so that if AD for some reason decides to move off, you still have the young core that you can build around. So who do you pick at pick 30 now? Simple. Terrence Reed Jr. Reed Jr. is a senior. It went all 4 years, so he's going to be more NBA ready compared to some of these other prospects, and that's why I went with him, because having a guy who is more NBA ready in a competing team like the Wizards should be is a lot more beneficial to them rather than picking up a freshman or sophomore who is still developing and still very raw. So I think Terrence Reed is the best decision there. But again, I went with the centers because I think that's the only other position that they're really weak in, especially off the bench. And we're going to address that a little bit in just a minute as well. But you could also pick up a good point guard as well. There wasn't really a great point guard at around those rankings. That's why I ended up going with the center position. But you can always adjust. You can always trade the pick again, maybe get a better center, a more veteran center, or something like that. But that's up to you. Speaking of the center situation, I also have in free agency, I have the Wizards signing Robert Williams to a 2-year and $18 million contract, maybe 2-year, $25 million contract if he's asking for a bit more. And that's just, again, play backup center. He's a versatile center, at least in terms of like mobility and things like that. He'll be a great pairing alongside AD and Sarr. He can play the center along with Sarr. He can play power forward along with AD. It's a nice combination for those two, and it's a good guy for Terrace Reed to continue to learn off of. So now you have essentially a 4 center rotation if you decide to play Reed. And if not, then you can run 2 big lineups with AD and Sarr starting, and then Rob Will and Reed Jr. as power forward and center off the bench. So I think that'll work well. And the only other move I think the Wizards need to make is just to sign a third string backup point guard, because you have Bub Carrington already, who will likely be that backup point guard for you. But getting another guy who can be a little more veteran presence, a little more playmaker heavy, would be very big for this team, especially if if Bub Carrington doesn't step up and recover from his rough season last year, and if Trae Young, heaven forbid, gets injured again, because his injury history has been a little iffy lately. So having that third string, I think, would be huge. And it really, any point guard, veteran point guard for cheap or near the minimum would work. I said Lonzo Ball or Tyus Jones. I think those two would be best, but you can choose any point guard, whether it's Jordan McLaughlin, Corey Joseph, if he's still in the league, anybody like that. Just a point guard, basically, to be that third string. But yeah, that's about it, honestly, because, like I said, this team made all of its moves at the trade deadline, so it doesn't really need to do too much more on top of it. The thing with the Wizards, though, is figuring out what their fifth starter is going to look like. So I have it looking like this, but it's obviously going to be a little... You can adjust it as much as you see fit, and you can let me know what you think down below. If you think someone else should be starting and someone else should be off the bench, just let me know. But this is what I have. You have Trae Young running the point guard. You have AJ Diabata playing off guard, with Keyshawn George playing small forward. Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr running the front court, and that's your starting 5. And off the bench, you're going to have Bub Carrington, Trey Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly, Will Riley, and then either Robert Williams or Terrace Reed Jr. or both if you want to run an 11-man. Now, what's interesting is that what I love about the Wizards is that they have that versatility to basically be, do you want to be more balanced? Do you want to be more defense heavy? Do you want to be more shooting heavy? And that's what's going to be very interesting to see. Do they decide, okay, Bilal is going to be the starting shooting guard, and then we're going to run AJ Diabata at the 3, and that gives us more defensive versatility? Or do you run Keyshawn George, like I said, and that's a little more balanced? He's a good shooter. He's also a pretty solid defender. He's not amazing by any means. Or do you start Trey Johnson and just have an absolutely nasty shooting and offensive heavy lineup? All 3 work. It's just a matter of what do the Wizards end up doing, what does their head coach end up doing. So, but yeah, that's, like I said, that's about it. Wizards are in a very good position. I'm very excited to see what they do this season, and there's not too much that they need to do to adjust or fix their team. It's just a matter of picking right and developing right and continuing to make necessary moves as needed. So let me know what you think down below. Who do you think the Wizards should start at that 5th starter position? Do you think it should be George? Should it be Johnson? Should it be Coulibaly? Or should it be someone else entirely? Should they make a trade and get a legit, I don't want to say starter caliber shooting guard, but a more veteran savvy shooting guard? Do you think they should do that? Let me know in the comments down below. But again, like I said, make sure to check out all the other content on the TikTok and the Instagram, things like that, and stay tuned for more content. But until then, y'all, peace.